Hi everyone, I'm Hotone, and today we are comparing the Hotone Ampero to the XFX3. And yeah, before you say anything, it may seem absurd because it's like comparing a Fiat to a Rolls Royce. And I mean, it makes sense because the Hotone Ampero retails for around $400 and the XFX is like, $2,000 more. So around 2,500. But yeah, just stick around and let me explain, and hopefully it will make sense to you too. So of course, if you compare these two units out of the factory, so the stock versions, the gamers would say the vanilla versions of each product, of course, the XFX is much more expensive, much more high-end, and in the end it sounds better. So stock things, there's no possible comparison. But what we are doing today is see how these two units compare to one another when using the same impulse response, or IR. For this test, we'll be using the Eminence Digital Christian Kohle IR pack, or Christian Kohle. I don't know, he's German, so maybe it's more Christian than Christian. But yeah, we will be using that IR pack, and more specifically, the Perfect Blend DV77CV75, I think it's that. And the reason why we are using these IRs is because, well, I like them, and I prefer them to both the stock cab simulation on the Ampero and on the XFX. Oh, and in case you were wondering, this is not a sponsored video by any means. I bought that IR pack with my money. It costs around 30 or 40 bucks, something like that. So yeah, not a sponsored video. Also, I will be using a rectifier style amp for both units. So for the Hotone Ampero it will be the rectifier, and for the XFX will be the Rector Red. Just because I like the rectifier style amps when it comes to, heavy rhythm guitars, 7-string, drop A stuff. Dun, 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 dun. So without any treatment, here's how they sound with the same IR. Well, pretty close, right? And maybe we could stop right here and say, well, is the sound difference worth $2,000? The reason why I say, is it worth $2,000 more, is because the Ampero plus the IR pack from Eminence Digital is still $2,000 cheaper than the XFX. Just because we're doing this, let's go just a little bit further and see how these two sounds react to some proper mixing and some audio treatment. And I feel it's a fair thing, because if you're recording yourself seriously and chances are you're going to mix your songs and do some audio treatment to your tracks. It's very rare that you see some raw guitars in the final mix. There's always something to make it sit better in the mix. So yeah, with some audio treatment, nothing too fancy, let's see how they compare with one another. Not bad at all, and just because you made it this far in the video, well, thank you very much, you're a beautiful person. And as the icing on the cake, here's how these two units, with all the mixing and stuff, how these two units compare in a full mix. That's it, in a mix they just sound the same. And I haven't done anything crazy, like whether you have the XFX, the Kemper, a valve amp, whatever thing you have for your guitar sound, when it comes to recording and mixing, you will do some treatment in order to make that guitar sound sit correctly in the mix with the other instruments. And this was a very straightforward mix, like there was no lead vocal whatsoever, so the difference would be even less. But I mean, yeah, you're going to do that with any gear that you have. So that seems like a very fair comparison to me, and something to think about in order to get the best bang for your buck. And finally, everything you need to support the channel is in the description. That's all for me. I've been Hotone Ampero, and I will see you very, very soon.